Hey friends, it's Rachel with the Ponds Farmhouse, and I'm excited today because I'm going to be sharing a fun DIY project for the holidays. This is going to be a Christmas topiary, and it's going to be sustainable and economical and very inexpensive to make. I'm using a lot of foraged items such as the twigs that I picked up out of my yard. These are some scrap fabrics that I had left over from another project. I'm also going to be using some dried oranges, and so I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to put this topiary together. In the meantime, if you love economical, budget-friendly DIY projects and decorating ideas, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. And so let's get started.
We want to begin by cutting our twigs and our fabric to fit, and what we want is we're going to have 2 rows of fabric and 2 rows of twigs, with the longer row being at the bottom of the cone. So what we're going to do is cut this in strips, and then we're going to have at least 2 rows around without any twigs on it, and we're putting that on with the Floral Picks, just holding it in place, and then we're going to add the twigs to this over the top of the fabric. So here we have the fabric for adding the twigs, and then we're just going to use hot glue to actually place the twigs on the fabric here. And as you can see, we're just going around and just getting them as tight as possible. Once we have all of the twigs on, it'll still be necessary probably to go back in and add some additional pieces just to fill in because of the cone shape of the arrangement here. We're just going to use floral pins to hold it in place. Then once we have it completely filled in, we're going to add in some additional twigs, and then we're going to be ready for the next step, which is to add some white paint to the twigs. This is totally optional. If you want to leave the twigs natural, that would be fine for a more rustic look, but for my table, I'm wanting these to be white. Then we're going to cut some orange slices in 2 and attach them just below the line where we've placed the twigs. We want them to be visible with the second row. So here comes the second row of fabric, and then we're going to repeat the same thing just with a shorter version, and we want to be sure that we can still see the orange slices once we have this row on. We want it to overlap a little bit, but not to completely cover them. And then we're going to fill in with some more orange slices, as you'll see in a few minutes, just to give it a full look here on the these orange and twig topiaries. So now we're ready to add that second row of twigs, and we're just going to pin those on with the floral pins, and then fill in any gaps. We want to go ahead and try to have it as full as possible before we move on to the next step. So we go ahead and fill that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some additional orange slices here underneath the first row, just so that it's more visible and you can see it better. And then we're ready to paint these twigs as well with the white chalk paint. We just want to make sure we get it good and covered here. And then we're going to go ahead and start adding some more orange slices here to the top, just going all the way around the top, overlapping the orange slices until we have it completely full. And then we're going to be ready for the last step here, which is to add the pine cones to the top. And what I do is I put a larger pine cone at the very top and then just fill in with some smaller ones. Then I place the finished topiaries on some candlesticks, and ta-da, we have our beautiful topiaries for our Christmas table.